No matter how hard I try, I can't seem to remember my first Stalker encounter. What I do remember is finding the blueprint in my foundry, and all my friends said, hey, you should totally build it because it's an awesome weapon. Little did I know back then that the Dread would become my favorite traditional style bow in Warframe. But the question today is, how did the Dread survive all the brand new status and IPS changes? So, let's find out. Hey guys, welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're going to be diving deeper into this Mastery Rank 5 primary weapon. As per the usual, I'm going to have a cheap build, something affordable that most players should be able to build, but of course we also have the quote-unquote endgame setup with a Riven. That said though, please keep in mind that my builds and guides usually take a new player friendly approach. I'm gonna take my time and give you all the necessary information you need on how to build your weapon and why. So, in case you're a veteran, and you already know most of this stuff, please, bear with me. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the Dread. Let's begin by checking out how the weapon handles without any mods equipped. And for that, just a couple of free shots. Now the Dread is your basic standard bow. There's nothing special when it comes to functionality on this weapon. You gotta charge it all the way back. You can release a half-quarter shot if you so desire, but you're not gonna be doing as much damage. Ideally, you wanna charge it all the way through and release a maximum damage arrow. As you can see, you got a bit of a drop off to this one, so leading your targets is definitely a thing because of the projectile flight speed, and you might wanna aim slightly above the head, and that is pretty much it. The charge rate on the Dread is pretty quick, and as you can see, the Warframe is able to pull an arrow from the quiver extremely quickly. Enough about that, let's jump into stats and have a closer look. Now my Dread has mod capacity 60 out of 60, and if you just finished your blueprint right now, you got mod capacity 30 out of 30. You need to go to actions, plug in an Orokin Catalyst. Now this one will be doubling your mod capacity, and you're gonna need a whole bunch of these things to max out your weapons. Trust me, it's definitely worth it, especially on the Dread. Now another thing that you probably noticed is the fact that I have a whole bunch of symbols on my mod slots. Now these are called polarities. There are 3 of them. Well, 3 standard ones and a couple of non-standard ones. You got your Madurai, Vazarin, and Naramon. The most popular by far is Madurai, and you're gonna have to format your Dread about 3 times for the build I'm gonna be recommending you. In order to format a weapon, go into actions and hit polarization, and then you're gonna be able to polarize a slot, then re-level your weapon. You get format by doing relics. You're gonna be opening relics, you're gonna get a blueprint, and then you're gonna have to craft it and apply it to the weapon. Now I'm fully aware that if you're more newer to Warframe, this might seem like a little bit overwhelming. Do I really need to take all these steps? And trust me, the Dread is 100% worth it. This is one of the most powerful traditional styles bows in the game. Now, with that out of the way, let's have a look at the accuracy. Is 16.7. This is pretty much par for the course for any traditional style bow. If you want to use heavy caliber on the weapon, it's going to get knocked down to 11.1. I don't recommend you go on this route because if you're going to use multi-shot, and well, you should use multi-shot, the resulting arrows from multi-shot will be landing completely off the crosshairs. Take a look at that, okay? Basically, this is a precision weapon. I wouldn't put heavy caliber on this one. Definitely not. But if you want to use it as a shotgun, I mean, use a shotgun. I don't know. Charge rate 0.5, as you saw there extremely quickly. Base critical chance, my friends, 50%. The highest base critical chance of all weapons in the game. It's tied with the lens and one else. I think the Brahma too is... No, Brahma's 35%. So the lens, the Dread, and there's still one more which has 50% as a base. It's absolutely phenomenal. Critical multiplier is decent at 2.0x, the magazine of 1, of course, multi-shot of 1 by default because you're firing 1 arrow. It's silent, which is important if you want to go into stealth missions, but there are other ways to go get around the whole stealth thing. Punch through 2.5. Now this is very interesting. Link in the cards right now if you want to learn exactly how punch through works and should work in Warframe. Basically, your arrow is going to be going through your target and hit multiple as long as they're in a line. So it's a form of AoE, extremely powerful, and not a lot of weapons have default punch through on them. So once again, this is extra points for the Dread. Reload 0.7. This simply symbolizes the time it takes the Warframe to pull another arrow from the quiver, and a Riven dispo of 4 out of 5, my friends. That is a high Riven disposition. Riven disposition should be controlled by weapon popularity. If you don't know what Rivens are, link in the cards right now for a full tutorial on them. Basically, they're extremely powerful Rivens which are catered to individual weapons, and I'm going to show you a really nice one a bit later. Status chance of 20%, a little bit on the low side. You know why? You're only firing 1 arrow by default, so that's kind of the weak point of the Dread, always has been. If we take a look at the damage, we got impact, puncture, and slash, and the highest amount by a landslide is gonna be slash at 300, which is one of the key advantages of the Dread. Now once again, if you're newer to Warframe, I want to draw your attention to this mod slot right here. This is the Weapon Excellence mod slot, and you do not need it, okay? There is one mod which you can use in this one. It will bring you a good advantage. It's called Terminal Velocity, but again, if you're newer to Warframe, you don't really need this one. Extra projectile flight speed will make the weapon handle a little bit easier and get your precise shots, well, a little bit easier. Now, with that out of the way, let's jump into a standard build. And we got a whole lot of damage with Serration, which is 100% mandatory, just like Split Chamber for multi-shot, critical chance, critical damage between Point Strike, Vital Sense. Now these four are non-negotiable. These are mandatory mods in Warframe. If you don't know what to sink your endo into, go Split Chamber, Point Strike, Vital Sense. Serration you can keep something like 2 or 3 from the top until you get enough endo. The following two mods I'm gonna call mandatory as well: Hunter Munitions and Bladed Rounds. And don't worry my friends, none of these mods, none of them are expensive. So if you're coming new into Warframe once again, this build is definitely not on the expensive side. We'll get to expensive later. Hunter Munitions in Warframe, one of the most powerful mods, 30% chance to apply a slash on critical hit. What is my critical hit? 125%, man. That is crazy, just with Point Strike alone. Which makes Bladed Rounds mandatory, 120% critical damage. Now this one is after you get a kill for 9 seconds while aiming. Yes, it's a little bit roundabout, but it's definitely powerful. It's the same amount as Vital Sense. As long as your crit chance is guaranteed, you gotta go for Bladed Rounds. Terminal Velocity is optional. Again, doesn't really matter. You know what? I'm even gonna take it off. Screw it. Malignant Force and Rhyme Rounds. These are the two mods we're gonna be playing around. The reason why I'm showing you this build right now, because this was the most common build for the Dread. You're gonna be getting one shots with this one. Is extremely powerful, but it's not the most powerful. And in order for me to prove why it's not the most powerful, I'm gonna have to deconstruct it. So bear with me. Let's test the weapon out like this. We got the Vital Elemental combo on the weapon. As you can see, 1068 Vital, 801 Slash, Impact, and Puncture just a wee little bit. Let's make sure that Gauss doesn't have anything to skew the test results. Okay, something like Corrosive Projection or Arcanes or anything like that. Corrupted Heavy Goons level 120, and we're gonna do the following test. First of all, we're gonna get a buff from Bladed Rounds. So we gotta kill one target off. Then we're gonna do a one-shot test on the remaining 7 targets. There we go, we got Bladed Rounds, one for you, and so on and so forth. The point here is to see how many one-shots we are gonna be getting. And yes, I'm being careful so the punch through doesn't hit multiple targets. There we go, that's enough. So out of the 7 shots that we did, we got 5 fatalities, my friends, in a single shot. That's how powerful this build can be. Absolutely beautiful. But do you see the recurring theme here? Why didn't these guys die? It's basically up to slash. If you get a slash on your target, the weapon absolutely wrecks. If you don't get a slash, it does mostly jack all. So what can we do to get more slashes? Now to answer that question and to improve upon this already powerful build, first we gotta figure out where are these slashes coming from. From Hunter Munitions, or is it coming from the weapon's base status chance mixed in together with its IPS? And that's what we're gonna be answering next. Up until recently in Warframe, we had the following rule. Impact, Puncture, and Slash, the 3 physical types, have a 4 times greater chance at applying a status effect over elemental types such as Heat, Blast, Corrosive, Toxin, you name it, it didn't really matter. But with the rework of status chance, they removed this rule entirely. So now everybody is 1-to-1. Everybody has the exact same chance, so it comes down to the values. In my case right now, what is my chance to proc Vital? Vital is number 1 on the proc priority being 1000, followed by Slash, Puncture, and Impact. So basically, in adding these two mods right here, since it no longer reduces the enemy's health to 50% and all whatnot, what did I achieve exactly? A slightly higher status chance, which is good, but I also overwhelm my Slash with Vital. So that's a bit of an issue. And to prove that the slashes are coming from Hunter Munitions and not from these two with this, we're gonna do the following test. We're gonna be removing Hunter Munitions. Hunter Munitions on this weapon is powerful because you got that 125% critical chance with Point Strike alone. All of your arrows are critical chances. All of your arrows are guaranteed crits. Therefore, all of them have that 30% chance to apply a slash from Hunter Munitions. So we're gonna take it off. And we're gonna do the same test again. We're gonna get our Bladed Rounds buff and all whatnot. when you're dealing with a weapon such as the Dread, my friends, what you want is one shot. That is my 2 cents on it. Take a look at this. I mean, this is already clear enough. I'm putting like a lot of shots in this target's head and I barely got a slash. Anyway, got my bladed rounds. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fatalities, I think we got 1, we might have another, we got 2, boys! 2 instead of 5. So as you can see clearly, the slashes are coming from Hunter munitions. What can we do to further amplify our chance at getting a slash? Considering what we know about Viral now and the 260-60 mods. First of all, Hunter munitions needs to come back in. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan. Here's the weird part, I'm not even a fan of this blasted mod. Well, we can go for more multi-shot. Take a look at my multi-shot right now, 1.9, right? What does that mean? I have a guaranteed arrow on my target and a 90% chance per shot at a second one, which means I got a 10% chance of only getting 1 arrow on my targets. But if I go with Vigilante Armaments, I get another 60%. So 2 arrows now are guaranteed out of the weapon and a 50% chance per shot at a third one, which means more chances for Hunter munitions to apply its slash. And that is absolutely beautiful. There's still one more mod slot, and I wrestled with this one quite severely. What is the single most powerful element right now in Warframe? Not an elemental combo, an element by itself. Heat. Especially considering that we're fighting corrupted heavy gunners which have a whole bunch of armor, heat will help us reduce some of that armor. And you might say that's it, right? That's the build. Well, that's what I thought too initially, and then I did some more calculations. The ideal mod to plug into this build is, believe it or not, a meme mod. A mod that I have made fun of and not recommended it for the better part of 2 years. But the change in mechanics currently in Warframe kinda bring it back just a little bit. Here's the problem and the disadvantage with adding thermite rounds. It adds one more element to the weapon. My whole idea was to proc more slash, to have a better chance at proccing slash. And adding heat to the weapon basically kind of throws that off. Even though heat is not priority number 1, it still adds another possible powerful element to proc. Well, okay, then fine. What is the best mod that you can use in this case? Believe it or not, it's Hammer Shot. I know, honestly I didn't believe it either, but it honestly is Hammer Shot. Now Hammer Shot will not add another element to the weapon, so you still have slash as proc priority number 1 by a landslide because impact and puncture are extremely small as values right now, and Hammer Shot gets you critical damage, your crit chance is guaranteed, so that is guaranteed damage as well, more status chance, more slashes in this case with the biggest proc priority. I know. I honestly know I couldn't believe it either. I didn't even want to suggest it at a certain point, but better at the end of the day is better, my friends. So we're gonna do the exact same test as before. This is a mod that I warned against so many times, my friends. So many freaking times. Take a look at this. It's not even funny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fatalities, let's see them. That's it. We still have 2 left standing, my friends. Slash is the name of the game with the Dread, it always has been, and this will be the most powerful build for it. Mathematically speaking, of course, because this one will provide you the most amount of slash. Now, of course, there's not a huge difference between this one and the Viral one. Definitely not. So if you still have doubts about Hammer Shot, trust me, I do myself. You can go for the 260-60 mods which form Viral. But again, the huge advantage to something like this is the fact that it's cheap. There's nothing here which is expensive, absolutely nothing whatsoever. And again, if you're coming new into Warframe, leave Serration 2 free from the top. This is the biggest endo sync that you got, and prioritize Split Chamber, then you go to crit chance, crit damage, then you go to Hunter munitions, okay, you get it, and the rest of them. Now there's still one more thing which we gotta do, bump up everything with a Riven, my friends. Then we're gonna go to Warframe buffs. Let's talk about a bit more expensive mods. If you got Argon Scope for the weapon, of course use Argon Scope. Take a look at my crit chance, 251.5% because I got a Dread crit again. Normally I loan Rivens from viewers just to test them, showcase them. The Dread is actually one of the first Rivens I ever got in Warframe. About 2 years ago, I rolled it myself. This is actually my Riven with 253% crit chance and 127% multi-shot minus 40% zoom. We got Argon Scope up in here, bladed around, so you get how this one works. Basically, I replaced Hammer Shot and Vigilante armaments with the Crit Again and the Argon Scope. Now don't blink, my friends, because if you blink, you might miss it. Same Corrupted Heavy Guns. 120. We're gonna bump up to 150 with Warframe buffs. Take a look at that. 15,000. No bladed rounds buff too. Beautiful. Absolutely freaking beautiful. Now, if we get lucky enough, it can die from a one-shot. Look at that. It's like snapshot, you're dead. But if it doesn't slash, as before, if it doesn't slash, it doesn't do much of anything. But as you can see, when it does slash, it basically explodes a target. Look, look, look! 72,500. Goodbye, sayonara, see ya later. Now you see him, now you don't. Absolutely freaking beautiful, isn't it? Yes, it's 100% going for a Dread Riven. And you know what? Dread Rivens currently are not really all that expensive. So 100% go if you can find one like something cheap, I don't know, 50 plat, then you can go and roll it and all whatnot. See if you get lucky. Priority are a Riven, right? Let's see what kind of stats you should go for on a Riven. First of all, critical damage, definitely. Go for critical damage, critical chance, multi-shot with a harmless negative. That would be absolutely fantastic. One more thing, my friends, bump up everything with Warframe buffs, and for that we're going to be using the ever so lovely Lady Mirage Prime. Now, I don't even know why I do these things sometimes, simply because what is the point now? I mean, basically the bow is one-shotting anyway, but we can one-shot harder, so why the hell not? For an aura against Grenier Corrosive Projection, the brand new Corrosive Projection reduces enemy armor only by 18%. We can go with Arcane Avenger R3 on this one, 40% critical chance boost bonus additive after. It simply stacks on top of what I already have. This is the brand new R5. These things, unfortunately, no longer double stack. Thanks, DE. And this one is Arcane Rage, 180% damage to primary weapons, 15% chance on headshot for 24 seconds. And we're gonna go like this. We can pump up the level, sure, 150. One thing to note is that these are the brand new Corrupted Heavy Gunners, meaning they have much weaker armor scaling than the ones from before. These changes were implemented with the status changes, so try to keep that one in mind. We're going to be using Mirage's free ability for a fantastic damage increase, as well as her ever so lovely clones. And my friends, if it was a one-shot before, of course it's going to be a one-shot now. For the power of Lady Mirage, you don't even need slashes, you can straight up murder your targets like so. This is a beautiful weapon. Honestly, I love the Dread, and it's time to wrap it up. If you're newer to Warframe and you just got this absolutely gorgeous weapon, rest assured it's a powerhouse and it's 100% worth building. And if you're a veteran in Warframe, you can rest assured that the Dread can still deliver insane amounts of damage, and I highly recommend this absolutely awesome weapon. But it's not perfect, definitely not. By 2020 standards, the Dread has no AoE damage, even though when it comes to single target, as long as you can aim properly, it can absolutely shrek any, mostly any targets, but no AoE. If you want something a bit more AoE-ish, you're gonna have to wait a little bit until you're able to pick up the Lens or the Brahma. But for now, my friends, this is one hell of a bow. And you know what? It's still my favorite traditional style bow in Warframe. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you got any sorts of feedback for me, I would love to read it in the comment section down below. Also in the comment section down below, I want to see weapon suggestions, my friend. Everything is on the table except melee, because we still don't have melee 3.0. You can also find me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. And if you love the content, consider supporting us via Patreon. Until next time, my friends. Bye-bye.